Previously on our adventures in the world of The Witcher. After recovering at High Watch Lodge, honing some skills, gathering supplies, and tending to the group's wounds, you all prepared for the highly anticipated Mage's Gala. As the night arrived, you descended into the lodge's enchanted basement, now transformed into a grand and sprawling venue. Amidst the swirling magic lights and the many guests of Intrigue, you met Casimir, a mysterious mage whose presence was a bit unsettling and was not the friendliest of party guests. Your recognition dawned, particularly in Mare, as you realized that Casimir was the very figure from Mare's dream so many weeks or months prior, and was also likely the spy who had watched them at Caer Seren in the flames. And that is where we had left off last time.
Need to scatter into this room and not be looking so fucking suspicious.
Yeah, so as you walk down into the gala, you see the venue has been kind of turned into a grand hall of sorts with shimmering lights, kind of, floating candles up above. The windows are they have like outside, almost kind of like cosmic starry night, facades, but you know that there's really nothing outside the windows since you are technically just in the basement of this very small lodge that has been enchanted. So as you all drop down and start to mingle with some of the guests, we'll zoom in here and pick up there. Clarice had taken the arm of Opheia as you had entered into the grand hall. You see Katrine and many of the other new guests that you do not necessarily recognize, mages, many younger, presumably perhaps students. And what are you all doing here as you take a look around?
Question before that. I don't remember. Did we tell the sorceresses about our dreams? I think we did, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't believe we did, actually. I think we told them that we had, I don't think we told them specifics. I think we told them we had, nightmares and, portentous dreams, but I don't think we gave them, a lot of details.
Okay. And I know that I asked Louise if she had had a dream when she got her mark, and she said that she didn't. So, the death omens are just for us, apparently. Cool.
We're special.
We're special. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Opheia, as you enter into the grand hall, Clarice offers her arm and leads you, if you are willing to follow, kind of towards the other end of the hall. She goes, come, Opheia, I'd like you to meet some of my friends, classmates from days gone by.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you'd enjoy a lot of what they have to say. They're lovers of nature as we are, and they've got some interesting ideas that I think you might enjoy. Clarice leads Opheia down the hall a little ways to a mage. She seems to be, she appears to be roughly in her mid-30s or so, although it's, of course, hard to tell for sure. And wearing sort of interestingly intricate leather armor. It seems to be sort of very light leather armor. Like it's almost like breezy, like kind of woven into your very like naturalistic type of armor. And it's you see she has many like bags and pouches attached to her belt. It doesn't seem as though she came like in the most like formal, which is kind of odd. Most everyone else here is like in their finest gala attire, naturally. Oh. All right.
I think Opheia might just. I'm going to commit a social faux pas and be. Ooh, nice equipment. What do you have in there?
She kind of turns. She's got like a glass of champagne or something that she's kind of sipping on. She goes, "Oh, well, I apologize for my attire. I'm not necessarily. There was a mix-up with my shipment and delivery, and I thought it was next Wednesday. But I thank you. Yes, I am a bit of an alchemist myself. I've been studying some of the more interesting and unique biomes that are present in Zarkania. Well, I like to bring samples with me and share them when I can. Would you like one?" She kind of reaches into her knapsack or her little belt pouch.
Get one for me too, please. Just see Mari's face, sad, pathetic.
I think it's too much of a faux pas to ask for extras.
You could mention me. Say, may I take one from my friend who is also a alchemist?
Ooh, get one for me too. and one for Ramin if we see him again. Hey, do you want one? Can I have 7?
You don't have to. I'm just being a jerk. Just being pathetic about my special interest.
Don't actually get me one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to be pathetic. Can I ask what it is, or is it a surprise?
Well, it's not necessarily a surprise. Opheia, go ahead and give me a human perception check here.
Now it's my turn to be pathetic.
First roll of the night, so we'll see. Traditionally not the best.
I realized I was wearing a green cardigan that was making me turn into a floating head, so I'm taking it off.
It's better than wearing a checkered pattern. I did that on a Zoom interview once, and it was a bad decision. Where's human perception? There we go.
God, if I never do another Zoom interview again, it'll be too soon.
Okay, a 14, Opheia. You kind of, like, as she's kind of reaching into her pouch, looking for these little samples that she has brought, it's a little hard to get a read of her. It's unusual that she's not kind of in finer attire, although it seems as though perhaps she had planned to be. But with a 14, you're able to get the impression that she thought this was going to be more of like a networking kind of gig, like a lot more of like a conference, more or less, of like mages like actually doing work, and seems to be maybe a little bit less familiar with like the ways of the Western mages here on the coast, the coastal mages, right?
She's disappointed by the lack of PowerPoint slides.
Yes, exactly. Let's see. This is, let me go ahead and check here. So she pulls out like little like paper or little paper sample bags, essentially. And so you see she pulls out these little paper samples, probably have about 1 unit of these alchemical things. She hands it to you, and you see that inside it is kind of a kind of sparkly or like shimmery, orangish yellow, kind of almost looks like sand. And she hands it to you. Goes, in my research in Zarkania, I found that this certain type of mineral deposit that we have in not a lot, but at least in decent quantities, act as a very good substitute for soul for certain alchemical properties.
That is groundbreaking.
I thought so too. I've been spending the better part of the last few years experimenting with it and refining it down into this more processed sort of product, and it's now actually quite stable. You can use it in most alchemical, applications, and so I thought perhaps the people here that may not have the opportunity. I know soul can be one of the more challenging alchemical ingredients to obtain on the western part of the continent.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch your name.
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry. I'm so rude. I'm Awara.
I'm Opheia. Awara, you're not being rude. I just wanted to warn you to. There are a lot of people that will probably be interested in this. I would not talk to the gentleman over there with the mustache, Kilton. I would not talk to him about what you've discovered unless you want to make a lot of money. So
It goes way over Kilton's head. I don't even know if he's going to know what the hell you're even talking about, but I love it.
He's heard Mara and Casper bitching about how hard soul is to get.
If I had recalled it, I would remember it, but I don't, so I don't.
Well, yes, I will keep that in mind. I appreciate that, Opheia. It's a rather lengthy process to refine, and it's, far out in the areas of Zarkania, so it's not readily available. I don't know that there's much of a lucrative business here, but I'm sure everyone has their angles on such things in life, I suppose. I'm feeling she's kind of looking around now at as more people kind of filter into the gala, and it starts to kind of chattering voices begin to kind of grow into a cacophony around you, and she starts to realize that she's a bit out of place here with the wardrobe in particular, and she goes, I don't know. She turns to Clarice and says, is there perhaps a way that you might be able to help me with my outfit? I'm feeling a little underdressed, to be honest. I thought this was going to be more of a conference of alchemical minds coming together and perhaps doing some mixology, and I didn't think it was going to be quite so formal, and now that my outfit is, do you think maybe you'd be able to help? She kind of looks worryingly at you and Clarice, Opheia.
I don't have an extra fit on my person. And I have a craft skill of zilch. Oh, this is killing me. I turn to Clarice and go like, I don't suppose there's a closet we could raid. I mean, I have a winter coat.
Let's see. She kind of turns and thinks for a moment. She goes, well, we have some extra clothing upstairs, but I'm kind of needed down here. I'm wondering if maybe we could do some sort of illusion that might work. I mean, there's enough illusions going on down here already that, half this place is an illusion, so people aren't likely to notice unless they pay special attention.
I'm terribly out of my depth, but maybe I should ask around. See if I should ask around.
Yes, let me think on it, and I'll look in my. She kind of pulls out of a pocket that shouldn't contain a book of this size, a fairly large tome. She kind of starts flipping through, and she goes, "Let me see if I have anything in here that might help." And she kind of turns to Awara and goes, "Just a moment, dear. Let's think on this for a second." while you all chat over there, the rest of you, Kilton, you kind of shaken a little bit. Well, maybe not shaken, but your interaction with Casimir was less than ideal. And you're kind of like looking around the room, trying to get a feel for like who else is here in this room. And you note that there is like the most like Chad, overly handsome, like handsome Squidward type mage who is just like, he's like, yeah, he's got like bleach blonde hair that like goes down to like a little like settles on his shoulders, and he's got like, he's basically like a one of the Hemsworth, if all the Hemsworths were just one guy, and just like,
the
If you're watching,
conglomerate,
Chris,
the
I'm so
Hemsworth
sorry.
conglomerate.
yeah.
Oh my god! I was fully imagining frosted tips until you said like long hair.
I'm just
They are
I'm
still
just
frosted
imagining
tips, just
Fabio
down at the
in
bottom.
I'm just imagining Fabio in like Saruman the White's robe.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. He's got like maybe less like white robe because that would feel like a little too Jesus-y, but he's got like the sandals maybe, and like, you know,
It's bro mage.
Hippie voice incoming.
This guy's missing from Hot Boy Summer.
What's up, bro?
and you catch like each other's eye across the room, and he kind of gives you like a toast across the room, and kind of gestures you over. I don't actually have a mini out for this
He
guy,
likes your
but
vibe.
We don't
We'll-
need a
we'll say
mini.
it's-
We know what he looks like.
yeah, you know what he looks
We
like.
all know what he looks like. He's here. I'll go.
You found Wizard
it little-
Gatsby.
It's a little too on the nose to have Henry Cavill in a Witcher game.
Oh my god, yeah, he does
Blonde-
have just like a chat of a man face.
We'll just write his character
It's
really
just
bad
Henry
so he
Cavill-
wants
it's
to
just-
leave.
It's Henry Cavill in a better lace front wig.
The bar is so low.
The bar is on the floor.
The bar is in hell.
All
I
right.
can find a better
He,
lace front wig.
As
than
you
that fucking wig.
approach,
Timothy
he
Chalamet.
as you approach, he kind of like offers you a glass of what appears to be like a red wine of some kind, and he goes like, "Well, hello there. Greetings, my friend."
Haha! Greetings. Hilton Espala. I look over his shoulder at that other guy. This guy.
It's not
Focus,
hard.
man. Focus. Focus.
It's not hard to be courteous.
Focus. What are we drinking? Haha.
Well, it seems as though the sorceresses here, in all their generosity, have provided some very excellent red wine. Now, I'm not up on my red wines, but I know this is a good one. Trust me.
Looks red to me. I thought I was gonna have to bring my own. I probably don't have my 2 barrels of wine with
Strapped.
me, or 2 casks of wine, whatever it is. It's probably with the animals. Yeah, I'll just toast with this guy. Fuck it.
Yeah. You chat a little bit and kind of get to know this mage. And let's see. His name is Lindarian. And he kind of like chats around a little bit. And you get the impression that he's one of those people that just likes to talk at a party and just like says a lot, but doesn't actually say much. You know, he's like,
I know the type.
yeah. And he's just,
I am the type.
and he kind of eventually gets around to the point of what he kind of gestured you over for, and he goes, so, you seem like someone that, I mean, maybe not a renowned scholar, but you seem like someone that knows how to, enjoy a good game, right? A mental duel, perhaps?
I would. You don't need to be a scholar to enjoy one. You just might need to be one to win.
Well, at Banard, we've come up with a little game, and
You would go to
well,
Banard.
Where else would he
What's
go?
the game? Am I getting hazed?
You're joining
The
fraternity.
game is called Run Naked Through the Square.
You know, it's a game. Well, we say game, but really more of a mental duel between scholars. We call it spell and strategy now. It's not a very good name, but hey.
None of them are chess.
I don't even know what that
Trying to say
means.
chest. I don't know. Gwent. What is Gwent?
Exactly. But I thought perhaps, rumor abound that, you've made quite a name for yourself in some local town nearby, and, well, the sorceresses were talking, and I thought maybe you'd, about you, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, random?
Well, no, it sounds like you helped them out quite a bit with their predicament that they had, And
they had a problem. I thought it was just, I don't know, missing children. Oh, right. Yes, they were getting blamed for it. Yeah, well, it wasn't them, obviously. I was wondering why we were helping people for free. That's good to know. I think I was neck deep in a cheese plate at the time.
that sounds like a pretty lucky cheese plate, if you ask me.
God damn.
Fucking
I am
damn it.
not getting involved, but that was slick. I'll give you that.
Oh my god.
Let's play. What was it? Sessions and Squelchers or something like that?
Spell and strategy, of course. Spell and strategy. I'll explain the rules, and then we can do a couple rounds just for fun. And he dives into the rules. It will essentially be a verbal combat game. It's kind of a debate club, essentially.
Yeah. Only the chattiest of chads at Banard go join the debate club. It's their version of
half of them end
football.
up as lawyers. So.
Literally, it's their version of first string football.
Yeah. As he explains the rules to you, Kilton, Casper, how are you feeling? What are you doing here?
Feeling bad. Feeling cornered, feeling out of place, feeling uncomfortable, feeling lost, going to back against the wall. Just gonna... Actually, probably farther in the corner. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just going to survey everyone, watch everyone, listen to everything, try to listen to as many conversations as physically possible, not interact with anyone, stare at everyone, though. Be very weird, very uncomfortable in general.
So just Tuesday for you.
Yeah. Wait, for me or for Casper?
Both. Yes.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Casper's not having a good time, as you could imagine, being surrounded by what is essentially his worst fear.
Absolutely. Casper, as you're kind of feeling this kind of almost claustrophobic feeling here in the gala, people that kind of, there's so many voices and they're all talking and you can't really focus on any one of them, and you're like feeling really overwhelmed at the moment. Casper, go ahead and give us a courage check here.
Oh.
Oh no.
You can be a big boy of cat. Big boy of cat.
Meow meow.
Hey, I'm only allowed to
Meow.
meow at him. Okay, courage. Where the fuck is that one? Hold on.
Under will.
It's under will? Oh, there it is, the first one. I have incredibly mid will, so let's see. Okay,
Hey.
not bad.
15,
Not
yeah.
bad.
More than enough for this situation. You kind of like go to the corner a little bit, you take some deep breaths, you kind of like find a little bit of relaxation, maybe grab like one of the enchanted armors is walking by with a platter of drinks, and you grab a champagne or something and kind of sip on that. You start to feel a little bit better after a few moments, and you kind of see Kilton and this chat of a maids chatting away, and Opheia and Clarice talking to this alchemist, and you also note that a fairly not old, but older looking sorceress, older than the general, most of the audience here. She's probably like appears to be in her like 50s or so. And you note that
like
she...
a Mare.
Kinda,
I swear I don't know what age Mare presents herself as.
Me neither.
Like mid 40s.
Yeah,
Okay,
mid-40s.
So not that far off.
Yeah, like so this is an elf sorceress, and you see that she looks a bit older, so you presume that she's probably fairly old. And you see that she walks with a bit of a limp. She doesn't have a cane or anything like that, but and it's hard to tell exactly like why she is limping because of her gown that she is wearing, but you note that she walks fairly slow and has definitely some mobility problems. She approaches you, Casper. She has in her hand kind of a chalice of wine, and she goes, "Well, hello."
He just kind of like stares down at her, just... Yes.
Not the talking type, I take it. That's okay. She kind of like sits on one of the chairs that's nearby, kind of stretching her leg out. She goes, "I understand not wanting to be in the spotlight, especially someone of your profession. Doesn't necessarily lend itself to being in the public eye too much, but I think you're doing just fine, kid." She takes a big swig of wine. She goes, "What's your name?"
Casper.
Casper, huh? That's a nice name. I don't know too many Caspers. Alive ones, at least.
It's Mare from the future. 10 years in the future.
This woman is an elf.
Yeah, you got turned into an elf.
Old-fashioned name.
Casper, at this point, you note that kind of in the center of the dance floor, now that more people have arrived and have had a few drinks, and the kind of mingling part is starting to kick into kind of some more like ballroom dances and things like that. People are kind of getting a bit revelrous, and there's some magical music playing. Dandelion has played a couple of numbers, and he's starting to get some more kind of waltzy songs going on the piano that he's been practicing. The sorceress, she kind of stands from the chair, setting her chalice of wine on the table, and she goes, "All right, then, Casper, won't you show an old lady a good time? Dance with me." She goes to kind of take your arm.
Casper just like fully stiffens up and just kind of goes, "I don't dance. I don't do that."
Casper, go ahead and give us a social etiquette check. Nice. A 19. Not too bad at all. You get a kind of moment now that you've spoken with her for a little bit here. And you realize that like she is someone of note. You're not quite sure, just based on her dress and her attire and accessories and things, but an elven mage of some age and renowned. Clearly she's someone of import that is here, and you think that in this circumstance, the social etiquette of being asked to dance by presumably one of the more important attendees at this dance would be probably not in great standing to like outright refuse, but you also know that you're maybe not the most trained dancer, and that a misstep during a dance could also result in its own offense.
Dance with the MILF.
Let her put out her cigarette on you. I can want things.
Okay. Sorry, that wiped every thought I had out of my brain. Casper has that thought. I think he begins to say that he doesn't dance and then kind of realizes that sort of like me in most situations, it takes him like almost like a full 30 seconds before he realizes that he needs to say something different. So he just corrects course and just says, I am not good at dancing. If you insist, I will, but I'm not good at it.
She kind of chuckles and kind of like gestures, kind of subtly, but gestures nonetheless towards her leg and goes, I'm not the best dancer anymore these days either, so I think we'll be just fine. Come on, kid. She takes your arm, and
I love her. I don't know who she is, but I love her.
as you head towards the dance floor, Casper, she goes, So, Casper, I guess it's only fair that I introduce myself. I'm Silvara. I'm a sorceress, if you didn't gather that by the social standing of those around.
I'm a witcher. As you can tell by my countenance and general look. Not many people have cat eyes for no reason.
Not a lot of people have anything for no reason. But I did gather that you were a witcher, Casper. I don't meet too many of you anymore, but I guess you don't meet too many elven mages either, so I guess here we are. Casper, as the waltz begins to kind of kick off, we'll go ahead and pick up there in a moment, but Mare, you have kind of gathered yourself for a moment here. You see Katrine is kind of standing over here, chatting with another mage, and Kilton and everyone else has gone off. You see Casper, for whatever reason, is heading towards the dance floor. And
I'm so proud of him. She doesn't show it in her face, but she's so proud of him.
Oh.
She wants him to gather these kinds of skills before she makes him into a human.
Mara, you are you took your potion earlier,
Yes,
as well as kind of did your hair and everything.
I'm snatched to the high heavens.
Absolutely. Go ahead as you kind of take a look around the room. What are you doing here?
Threat assessment for one. The obvious being set aside. Taking stock of who's here from what factions. I see a lot of grad students, which is nice. It's encouraging. I love that. Basically just like going through the mental Rolodex that's got cobwebs on it, dusting it off and like just trying to put names to faces. And trying to figure out which of the three the lodge sorceresses would be best to tell about what I know about Casimir. Which of them is going to believe me the most and be able to do something or help me?
Yeah, absolutely.
And also just warn them that he might start something because fuckery reasons. Who knows?
Yeah. Mari, go ahead and give us I think in this case, we'll start with an awareness check to kind of get a feel for the room as you look around and kind of assess who's here, where everyone is, and kind of look a little bit deeper than just the initial, especially as the party's kind of getting underway here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I was never all that good at these parties. Let's see. 18, not
18,
bad.
very nice, yeah. So you kind of like take a few moments to gather yourself and, just kind of get a feel for who is here. And like you mentioned, yeah, it's a lot of kind of like graduates and younger mages, students, things like that. People who have like, are looking to make a name for themselves, but kind of the old guard and like the old way of doing that are kind of on the way out. Yeah. And so it's like younger people.
Like me being a journalism student in the late 20 teens when local news was dying.
Exactly. Yeah.
You and I both get it.
Yeah. So you look around, there's most of the people that are here, and there's more than are just pictured on the map, but like there's crowds of people. Most of them are kind of younger mages, mostly human, and a mix from kind of Ban Ard and Aretuza. You notice a few like faces that you don't necessarily recognize. Most of these people don't like know, but like you get the impression based on their garb and like how they're carrying themselves and talking and where they're from. Do
I see anyone? Do I see a specific mage from my backstory? Do I see Alona anywhere?
You don't see Alona here, and most of these mages you don't necessarily have like a history with. You see Awara, who you are familiar with. She is fairly renowned as an alchemist, but you may not have like necessarily met. Like maybe you went to like a conference that she was at like years ago or something. And you also see that the very hunched and elderly figure of the elf mage Gerwolf Mordhain, kind of hunched over a plate of like food that he has been served, kind of like
Apple.
Yeah, somewhere between he's very elderly, and you do recognize him. And then as far as your other elements of the three sorceresses who you might want to speak to, you think probably Louise is the most the best choice in that circumstance. You think that what you've seen of Katrine and Clarice, like Louise is clearly the lodge leader. She's the one that has the personal experience with the mark and had kind of done the research. So you think she's probably the most likely to communicate with.
That's what I thought. All right. I'm going to keep. I know Luis is probably like being not swarmed, but like is constantly being around people, and I don't want to pull her away from that to be like super suspicious. So I would like to go and talk to Gerwolf if he is being left alone.
Sure, absolutely. You see, kind of at the end of the hall, there's some vacant seats, presumably for kind of the lodge sorceresses and maybe some of their guests of honor. Mari, as you begin to kind of head across the hall towards that end of the, and kind of begin to approach Gerwolf, you see this mage, Masaru, kind of come up and approach Louise, who had been talking to another kind of group, and kind of start just being like overly. You get the impression that his attention on her is not necessarily wanted, and he seems to be like he is not one of the younger students. He is clearly an older master mage. You think, actually, Mari, go ahead and give us a magic training check here in this case to see if you recall anything else about this particular mage.
Where'd they go? There they are. Okay.
Yes.
Magical training. Masaru. One luck into this. 27.
Ooh, 27. Yeah, easily you're able to kind of tap into your memory of your past, and you actually took a class with Masaru. He was a teacher at Aretuza for some time, or for a short time. He was problematic in a lot of ways and did not necessarily mesh with the philosophies of teaching at Aretuza. He's an incredibly powerful and
was it a problem of
mage.
Was it a problem of ideology, or was it a problem of police don't stand so close to me?
A little bit of both.
God.
His political leanings were not necessarily the in line with the schools, and he was also a little too friendly towards some of the other teachers at Aretusa during that time. You note that he is kind of annoying Louise. You can't quite make out across the din of the room, but you get the impression from her body language and kind of the urgency with which he like approached her that it was not necessarily something she was like keen on talking to him.
Okay, I will divert course and go rescue her.
Okay. As you approach, you hear her like very politely answering his questions and things. He's like talking about the lodge and like all of these kind of basically just trying to like keep her attention on him with very banal conversation. And you see like she looks over his shoulder to you with that kind of just like, help me.
Help me. Yes. I will approach and say, Master Monster, it's so good to see you. I'm so sorry. I need to borrow Louise. There's something that has come up. Do forgive us. And I will link arms with her and guide her away.
Okay, go ahead and give us a persuasion check in this instance.
Persuasion. This guy probably remembers.
I'd also take a deceit check
girl.
if you would
Deceit.
prefer.
Let's see which is better, persuasion or deceit. Deceit is better. Only by one though. Too luck into this. This one.
Don't
this
let
is,
him sell her crypto.
This is one of the skills that's not affected by my potion.
Okay, 15. Let me give him a check to see if he... Let's see, where's the resist coercion? Ooh, okay. He is not convinced by your deceit check. And he goes,
No, please, I insist you stay. Let me grab some drinks. We'll all catch up from old time's sake.
he is...
What?
He is trying to capture you now both in this conversation. As we...
Not let your drink be alone with this man. Holy shit.
Yeah, literally.
Opheia, we'll pick back up with you as Aowara is still having a wardrobe mishap here.